Hey everybody at home at Old Guy Hi-Fi channel. I hope everyone's doing well today. Today should be an interesting video. We're going to take a look at the xDuoo TA20 Plus fully balanced tube hybrid headphone amplifier. So sit back, relax, and we'll get going on this review. Well, before we get started, big shout out to Apos Audio for loaning me this product for review. Now, my opinions and my thoughts and my conclusions are all my own. Apos Audio has no influence over that. But anyway, there will be an affiliate link to this product in the pinned comment and in the video description. Full disclosure. So what is the xDuoo TA20 Plus? Well, it is an interesting fully balanced hybrid tube solid state headphone amp and can act as a preamp. It sells for $500, although I think at the time of the filming of this video, it may be on sale. You'll need to check the Apos Audio website. So as I discussed it, I'll put specifications up here and I'll insert some pictures of the unit front and back because it's just too heavy to hold up. So looking at the unit on the front panel, starting on the left-hand side, we've got our XLR and 4.4 millimeter balanced outputs. That will give you 2,600 milliwatts at 32 ohms from 10 hertz to 80,000. When we get to the quarter-inch single-ended output, that is 2,000 milliwatts at 32 ohms, again 10 hertz to 80,000. We've got a really nice little VU meter. That's fun to watch. We've got an interesting dot matrix, and you should have seen in the B-roll there would have been a number highlighted in there. So that'll show you your volume control. And then there's inputs. You have auxiliary 1 and 2 and then balanced inputs, and you can select those by pushing the volume control. And it's got that lovely red volume knob, just like all xDuoos do. Tube complement on this one is 12 AU7s for the output stage, and it is a 5Z4P rectifier. Let's spin it around and look at the back real quick. On the back side, starting on your right, master power switch, IEC power socket, voltage selector, balanced input on XLR, really nice, 2 auxiliary inputs on single-ended, and then a single-ended preamplifier output that is variable with the volume of the unit. So it is really well designed that way. Now, it does use a tube front end, so you got full class A on the tube front end, and you got full class A on the transistorized output. It's really nice. It has a lot of power. Really does a great job. So why don't we take a moment, I'll talk about how I tested it, we'll talk about some of the music I used, and then I'll summarize my feelings on it. Well, I also wanted to let you know it does include a tube cage, although I didn't really use it because I was rolling tubes, and we'll talk about that briefly in just a moment. So I tested it, as you saw in the B-roll, on my desktop, sitting on top of my sound solver audio rack. It was being fed a signal from the Fuzzy Audio ZD3 DAC, and that is one of the only Sabre chip DACs I really like, and I really like it now because I actually have Burson Vivid Classic op amps in it. So I was running balanced out of that into here. Then I was running from the single-ended out of here into the IEMA A70 mono amps out to the ELAC DB53s that I have in. And also for a time I used my Philharmonic True Mini monitors. So the unit itself, headphones, I used my FiiO FT5s, which are my reference. I used my Sennheiser Massdrop 6XX. I used a pair of FiiO FT1s, and I also used a pair of Hifi and Diva, which is an open back planar magnetic headphone as well. But for the lion's share of my listening, I used the FiiO FT5s. That's my favorite headphone. It really has good power to it. The 2,000 or 2,600 milliwatts on a balanced output drove everything really effortlessly. And that's one of the nice kind of things about this is with the tube front end and the solid state back end, it does have a real good sense of effortless power delivery. Really, really nice. And it is a full class A buffer. So we've got the rectifier tube and the 12 AU7s. Now, I did mention that I rolled it, and I'll talk about that a little bit in the sound summary, but I did roll, it does come stock with an xDuoo branded 12 AU7. And I would say probably 75% of the time I listen to it with the stock tubes in it. So at least you'll know what it sounds like coming out of the box. If you want a tube roll, you're welcome to. I did use for a time the PS Vane Horizon 12 AU7s, and they were very close to the stock tubes. There wasn't a great deal of difference, maybe a little cooler sounding. And I did for a time use Ray Select 12 AU7s. Now, Ray Select tubes are available from Apos Audio if you're interested. And that was a really good sound, but they're expensive. There's a ton of 12 AU7s you can try, and they'll all have a small effect on the sound. And I found that with the stock tubes, I was very satisfied with that sound quality. So let's take a minute. I'm going to tell you about the music I used, and then I'll summarize. So for this review, I created a title playlist called Headphone Hi-Fi Playlist. There'll be a link in the video description. And there's a bunch of different tracks on there. I was trying to find some stuff that might have some interesting head stage, maybe some kind of sonic acrobatics, and just kind of fun stuff to listen to. And one of the tracks I want to highlight is this track from a band called Kaleo. It's off their album A.B. called Way Down We Go. Now, this was released in 2016. Kaleo is actually an Icelandic band, and probably the most famous Icelandic rock band. I mean, obviously Bjork's very famous. It's a really cool song. It's got this moody, bluesy kind of atmosphere to it. The lead singer, who I'll never pronounce his name, and I'll put it down here, he's known as JJ. He's got this amazing voice. Now, he used another track called No Good from the same album, and that's really interesting. That's a very garage bandy sound to it, really gritty, really raw. These are both excellent tracks. Anyway, I think they're fascinating to listen to. It's an Icelandic band doing kind of American-style garage rock sort of stuff. Really, really interesting. And then there's a curious track on the album that's actually a rock song sung in Icelandic. So anyway, really, really fun. Oh, by the way, this one topped the Billboard Alternative Song charts in 2016, and it's become kind of their signature song. So what was the next track I used? Well, being an old guy, I couldn't get away from using something from the prog rock era, so I used this track, Still You Turn Me On, off of Emerson, Lake and Palmer's 1973 Brain Salad Surgery album. This is a really interesting track. It was written by Greg Lake. It is a total outlier on this album. It's a very romantic acoustic ballad. And again, with Brain Salad Surgery, it's a lot of complex experimental prog rock stuff like Carnival 9. This one showcases Greg Lake's real melodic songwriting. He's a very good songwriter, a great acoustic guitar player, great guitar player. And this offers a kind of a gentler, more intimate moment in the album's, in and amongst all these the album's very ambitious arrangement. Now, the whole album was recorded at Olympic Studios in London in 1973. Really, really interesting. And of course, you got Greg Lake on acoustic guitar, lead vocals. You've got Keith Emerson on harpsichord and synthesizers. And in this particular track, not a lot of Carl Palmer, although there's a little bit of percussion that you could probably attribute to him. But this is very much a Greg Lake solo piece in spirit, kind of similar to Lucky Man in the original ELP self-titled album. And this is really fun. It was not released as a single, but it quickly became a real fan favorite. And it obviously it remains one of ELP's most beloved tracks. It's a real staple, obviously, for classic rock and things like that. I just love it because it is this lush acoustic guitar, very romantic. Greg Lake has this amazing voice, although I wish there was a little less reverb, but it's very atmospheric sounding. And of course, you got Emerson with the, kind of the subtle harpsichord, and then he goes crazy into the, the full synths toward the end of the song. Really, really cool. So again, Still You Turn Me On, off of Brain Salad Surgery from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So let's talk about what I thought about the sound of this. So how did I get on with the xDuoo TA20 Plus? I'll tell you what, I really like this thing. I did review recently an xDuoo, a more expensive xDuoo headphone amp with a tube front end that had swappable DAC chips in it. That's crazy. And it had a ROM chip in it. That sounded really good. I have a sense that kind of the tube front end and maybe the solid state back end of this, maybe, although not as powerful, is very similar in design because they have a very similar sonic signature to them. And that is, it's a wonderful signature. Now again, I was feeding it off the Fozzy ZD3 with the Burson Vivid, the Burson Classic, V7 Classic op amps in it. And that was a great combination. The tube front end gives it that warmth, that very holographic sound, beautiful detail in the mid-range, just glorious and rich. It is a bit warm, but the Class A solid state end, the transistorized end, you get this sense of power, this kind of sense of there's plenty of power in reserve to do whatever you want to. So low end was good pace to it, very quick. The bass was deep and articulate, very, very nicely, very rewarding. As you got into the mid bass range, that 100 to 300 hertz range, again, drums were very good, acoustic guitar, bass guitar, acoustic bass, all very good. I listened to more than just what's on this playlist. Excellent sounding. This kind of pulled me in and had me listening to it for several hours on end. Really, really good. Now, through the mid-range, vocals were excellent. Greg Lake's vocals were beautiful. JJ vocals on the Kaleo stuff was excellent. Female vocals were very well done. I think, again, the combination of the tube front end with that lushness and that warmth, balanced by the solid state, the Class A solid state sound, gave it this very smooth, tending toward warm, sound signature to it. And as far as headspace, I'm not a big one on judging that. But anyway, I just was a ton of fun. I felt like I was really engaged. Not everything sounded like it was dead in the center of my brain. It kind of felt like there was more stuff going on. And I really found that engaging. So transients were really well done and just beautifully, like they weren't limited. Good decay, good hang in the air. I got a good sense of room on some of the classical music I was listening to. I got a really good sense of the space in the hall and things like that. Very subtle cues were well reproduced. Very dynamic cues were well reproduced. This thing did a very exemplary job. I'm very, very enamored with it. It's a great little piece. Anyway, I enjoyed it. And I think I'm going to be sorry to see this one go. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you'd be willing to give me a like and your subscription. Your subscription and your view does matter a lot to me. It's helped my channel grow quite remarkably, and thank you guys so much. It's also made it much easier for manufacturers to want to loan me gear to review and do demos for you guys with. And I've got to tell you, I've had a lot of really good manufacturer conversations recently, and I got a lot of really cool stuff on its way in. So it will be fun, I promise you. Your subscription is very much appreciated. Anyway, in full disclosure, there will be an affiliate link to Apos Audio to purchase this if you're interested in the pinned comment and in the video description. There will also be a link to the playlist in the video description, along with a direct link to the 2 tracks I talk about. There will be other affiliate links in there. Please comment. Let me know what you think. Where are you at with your headphone journey? Where are you at with your desktop journey? Are tubes something you're looking to get into? This is a great way to give a bit of a tube sound to some of the kind of fun fi category. Again, I had this running into the IEMA A70s, which is a good little amp by itself, but with the tube front end on this, it kind of warmed those out. They're very powerful. It's just a really good overall sound. So let me know what you think about that kind of stuff. I think the comment, that's it. Oh, I would like to do a shameless plug if you don't mind. I have a very good friend of mine, Brock Gerling, who is starting a new channel that's going to focus on headphone gear and desktop sorts of product called Audio Tribune. There will be a link in the pinned comment to Audio Tribune. Now, I don't know that Brock's created any content yet. He is just getting ready to launch the channel, but it's well worth you checking it out. Again, Audio Tribune. Give him a like, give him a subscription when he gets some content out there. Really good guy, and we want to support him, obviously. Gosh, I think that's everything. Again, a big thank you to Apos Audio for loaning me the unit. I can't think of anything else to say. Isn't that amazing? So please like, please subscribe, please comment. If you want, you can follow me on Instagram. My name's Ed Homewood. This is the Old Guy Hi-Fi channel, and it is your obligation yourself to put on some beautiful music, maybe from that playlist I put together, and sit back and enjoy the balance of your day. I thank you so much for your time. I'm very grateful for it. I hope you have a wonderful day.